Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we're going to have a look at some of tomorrow's racing. We're also going to highlight one more in the Grand Annual that I missed yesterday. That is very interesting for Premium and Pro members. I highlighted it. This is obviously going to everybody, so you will get to hear one of my Grand Annual selections at this early stage. And that will come at the end of this video. So let's start off talking about tomorrow, and I want to talk about Wreck-It Riley first, who hopefully wins for the Ursa Major Syndicate. I think the R figure, the R1 figure, that 127.0 was a really good effort when second to All in the Hips at Wolverhampton over 6, drops back slightly to 5. You know, Wreck-It Riley looked like it had it won at probably 5.5 last time, just got caught on the line. This doesn't look any harder. I'd be disappointed if Wreck-It Riley doesn't go very, very close here for the Ursa Major Syndicate. There are no prices about this yet, but I will be keeping an eye out for when they start pricing this one up. Let's move to Sandown, where we do have some prices, and the first horse I want to talk about is the top-rated horse, Spirit Danu, yeah. You can see the R1 figure was a very good effort, 134.7, suggesting that what he's shown so far is by far and away clear of the rest of the runners. Now, Havela has got a bit of form, but that was actually back on the flat. Since going hurdling, hasn't quite done it yet, hasn't shown enough for me to be that interested. I think the interesting thing here, and something that I didn't do this deliberately, but I've had a look, and I think a lot of the runners I like tomorrow are French bred. Now, French bred horses do go well on soft ground and you know, heavy going, which is very much like what we're going to get at Sandown tomorrow, if it goes ahead at all. Now, Gary Moore has won this race a couple of times in the last 4 years. He won it with Huston de Grugy, a French bred horse, and he won it with Aragon de Chanay, who, believe it or not, was a French bred horse. And yet when he's actually been beaten in this race, Gary Moore, he's not had French bred horses, which I think was really interesting, that this time he's got a French bred horse. I really like him. He's clear top rated. We know Gary Moore does well here. Let's just scroll along and have a look at some of the stats. We can see that he's got quite a good green line here. Jamie rides well. Yeah, I'm quite a big fan of Spirit Danu tomorrow, to show a little bit more, and probably just have that bit of strength being French bred. I think they handle this going better. I know, admittedly, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this race French bred. The biggest danger I felt on the R figures was Havela, the Irish bred horse. So I'm quite happy with Spirit Danu, who I think should show a lot more now into handicap company as well, can continue progressing. Spirit Danu has been currently priced up at 2, so we'll see what else is available later on today. Moving on to the 150, and we have another French bred horse that I like here, and again it's the top rated horse. Henri II is also the highest rated horse in the race, of 132 for Paul Nichols and Harry Cobden. Now, I think this has been the plan for a little while. It's only a handicap, and yet his last 3 runs, or two of his last 3 runs, he went from finishing second in a novice hurdle at Chepstow, a maiden hurdle at Chepstow, to then running in a grade 2 at Sandown, which he won. He then went to another grade 2 at Cheltenham, where he finished 4th, and since then the sights were slightly lowered, and he finished second last time out behind Picard. Now, initially you might go, well, that was disappointing, but he had finished 3rd to Hacker de Place and Might Eye in a handicap that I think will work out well. I think Might Eye goes really close at Cheltenham. So Picard there was no shame in losing to Picard, particularly if they hadn't really got him that fit for Warwick. The idea was to just finish in the front 4, which got him qualified for this race. He actually dropped a pound from 133 to 132, and Harry chooses him over 2 others that they also have in the race. Now, admittedly, Harry got it wrong last year. He chose Napper's Hill over Complete Unknown. However, we can be pretty confident that Napper's Hill is actually the better of those two, based on what they've done since. Obviously, Napper's Hill has actually He's won an elite hurdle at Wincanton. He's won a silver trophy at the beginning of the season at Chepstow. He did actually come back to Sandown and win the Novices Championship final in April. So, yeah, I mean, he picked the wrong one, but they sent a really good horse to this race last year in Napper's Hill, and I think they're doing the same again with Henri II. Hugo's new horse kind of has to run here on the back of 5 wins, and Twin Power, I just don't think he's as good as Henri II. Now, I know he gets weight from Henri II, but I still think Harry Cobden has picked the right one here in Henri II. The French bred horse, again, as I said, should like the heavy going. That won't be an issue. Is Twin Power's not. Hugo's new horse is, but needs to, I think, needs to improve again to win. Henri II is about 9 to 1 you can get, comfortably 9s, 8s, 8.5. But yeah, I think Paul Nicholls is number 1, and I think he will go very, very close. I think Paul sent a couple here last year with Complete Unknown, Napper's Hill, and then Hacker de Place and Samarive in the Imperial Cup. Obviously, Hacker de Place didn't win, but did go on to run really well. Obviously went to Aintree and won, has come to Cheltenham this season and won. He sent a good handicapped horse for the Imperial Cup. And the one who got beat, Samarive, came back to Sandown in April and won himself. So I think Paul sent a couple here last year with big chances, and he's doing the same again this year. So with that in mind, let's look at the Imperial Cup, and the one I like for the Imperial Cup is the Paul Nicholls horse, Isio. I know the trainer believes that he wants this soft ground, which is a positive. But last year, when he moved to Paul Nicholls, he ran in a introductory hurdle at Kempton and won, and then they stepped him up to Grade 2. They thought he was, good enough to go in Grade 2 company in the JCB Triumph Hurdle Trial. He then finished fourth in the Dovecote at Kempton when taking on older horses, which was a really good run, beaten by Oak and Risk, who obviously has a big chance in the County Hurdle, the Betfair Hurdle winner. And then this season he's only had the one run. This looks like they've planned this race for him for a little while. The fact that he only made his comeback this season as a 5-year-old at Sandown, over 2 mile, in a handicap. He got beat that day. He got beat by Hardy de Soy, but travelled well enough and then just got tired late on. That run should put him spot on. The softer ground, which he's not really had since Kempton, really. I don't quite think it was that soft, or as soft as it's going to be as it was last time at Sandown. He's going to get it even softer, and I fully expect a really big run from Isio now that he's running in a race that I think he's being aimed at and actually trying. They were trying last year in the Grade 2 at Cheltenham and the Grade 2 at Kempton. Didn't quite work, so they looked after him, didn't rush him, didn't force him, didn't throw him in loads of handicaps at the beginning of this season. They've targeted something, and I think this is the race they've targeted, and he is 9 to 1 available. I'm quite a big fan of Isio. The final race I want to talk about is also at Sandown, and again, it's a French bred horse, and it might be a bit of a surprise, this one. I believe he's the outsider of the field. It's Belagus. He's the outsider of the field, and he's right near the bottom of the ratings. The thing with Belagus, I think he wants terrible conditions, and I think he wants Sandown. If we actually go back here, this is winning at Sandown, this is falling at Sandown, this is winning at Sandown. This time he actually ran on heavy when winning over 2 mile. He was then going to go very close when falling over 2.5, and then he won over 2.5 on good ground. When he actually won that was winning the Josh Gifford Novice Handicap Chase, which is in the April, a good handicap that they can win at the end of the season. He beat Falco Blitz and Killer Clown, horses that would run big races here. Not that Fuise was also in it, who went on to be better than what he achieved on that day. And I think the ground and the trip will really suit him. I mean, he's even beaten Grey Diamond over 2 mile at Sandown. Now, Grey Diamond, that day was rated 126. He's recently fallen off 133 at Sandown when I actually think he was going to win himself. So the form is strong. Phlegmatic was even in behind as well, who's also ran a reasonable race recently. Yeah, the form was strong, and it's all about coming back to here, where he clearly runs his best races. He should get the ground. He's back to a trip that I think suits. I don't think he stays 3 mile. And he's back down to a very low handicap mark. He's only running here off 125, and Niall takes another 3 off. So he's running off 122. But when he won at Sandown the first time, this one here, this was running off an effective mark of 117. No, 116. But then when he won here, he was running off an effective mark of 125. No, he's running off an effective mark of 122. So he's £3 lower than when winning over course and distance. And as I said, that day he beat Falco Blitz, Killer Clown, Not That Fuite. A good run. And I'm hoping that, not that this has been the plan, but I'm hoping that we can see a massive bounce back to form for Belagas, back at this trip, back at this course, back on this going. And you can actually see that they've priced him up initially. William Hill have gone 11-1 outsider of the field. I really like him. I think if he's going to show form anywhere, it's going to be here. Finally, we just mentioned him a minute ago, talking of a horse for the Grand Annual. If he gets in, I think he goes very, very close. And that horse is Grey Diamond. I'm just going to have a quick look to see where he is in the... what number is he? So 20 can run, and he is... So he's 33. He's one above Frero Bamboo. If he gets in, he's one above Frero Bamboo and one below Rouge Vif. If he gets in, I think he goes really close. His form is actually very, very good, especially at Cheltenham. So he came to Cheltenham at the beginning of the season and he got beat by Amarillo Sky and Fugitive. Now Amarillo Sky went on from winning at Cheltenham to winning at Newbury, and then finishing 4th in a Grade 1, only beaten in 9 lengths. You know, he was only 2.5 lengths behind Energuming. So that's good form from Amarillo Sky. The second horse, Fugitive, went on to Chepstow and won a handicap, and then went to Chelms. I think I was going to say Chelsea. And then finished second at Cheltenham behind Il Rodotto when well clear. That form is really strong. Grey Diamond himself then went to Sandown and was going to win, in my opinion, when falling... What did he fall at? The switched 2 out. He fell 2 out when I think he was going to win, personally, at Sandown. So there's one extra there for the Grand Annual, and that's Grey Diamond. And you can currently get Grey Diamond at 20-1 for the Grand Annual. If he gets in, I think you're going to have a great chance there. If he doesn't get in, you'll get your money back. So yeah, he's one I'm going to add to my Grand Annual selections as well. So yeah, just a quick recap. I like Spirit I like Wreck-It Riley. I'm waiting to see a price on that one at Wolverhampton. I like Spirit Donu, French bred. Gary Moore has a great record with French bred horses in this race. The R figure is very eye-catching. Henri II, I think this has been the plan for a little while, especially after winning the Grade 2 here at the course. Now into a handicap. Very interesting placement here, similar to Napper's Hill, I think. Isio comes here again. I think this has been the plan for a little while. Hasn't run for a long time. Hadn't run for a long time after running in juvenile events last year. Came back with a decent second over course and distance. Should be much fitter now. And the final one is the outsider of the field, Belagas, who is back at Sandown, and this is his course. If he's going to go in anywhere, this is it. And the final one for the Grand Annual is Grey Diamond.